Well, hello, beautiful warriors of the internet. I'm just putting together an interview that I did with Sue Farah from Hopeful Tribe. And this is the second part of a three-part series that I'm going to be putting up on my page. And this is basically just a clip of mental health stigma in the police force, in basically the first responder community. And I also want to celebrate and inform you all that Sue Farah from Hopeful Tribe is going to be doing a 24-hour segment during the Thanksgiving U.S. holiday, airing on the 24th of November. Just a collaboration of a bunch of creators that are getting together to provide some information during what would be considered a tough time for people during the holiday season. So I hope you enjoy, and we'll see you soon. Just about the stigma around PTSD and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Well, and that's another reason why I wanted to start a YouTube channel, is just to get the word out there. I will put my videos into certain groups on Facebook that are basically law enforcement groups and whatnot.
Oh, that's so good.
Yeah, and so that, you know, and I've actually had some feedback. I've had people reach out to me and you know, want to talk, and they feel that it's safe to talk to me because it's getting better. It's better than it was, say, 20 years ago. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But it's going to take some time. They're slowly RCMP is slowly getting involved with this mental health. They're getting on board, but it's going to take some time for that to happen. So anyway, yeah, it's I was talking about the stigma thing, but so that's been helpful. It's been very therapeutic, like I mentioned before, and I learned a lot. I've learned a lot about myself. Like, you know, the average person, you know, you'd ask them this question. So, you know, who are you? What are you about? Why do you do the things that you do? Have you ever thought about that before? You know, like you get into a situation where you're getting really pissed off. Say you're driving somewhere and there's a traffic jam and you're getting really pissed off that somebody just cut in front of you, you know, you're not moving. And why are you reacting that way? What is it? What was that just happened? That action that made you react that way? I never thought like that before. I used to just, you know, blinders, you know, what's in front of me, you know, running around with my head cut off like a chicken, just, you know, trying to just manage life. Mm-hmm. I never stopped and just, as they say, smell the flowers or take a breath. I never did that.
Yeah.
And I bet you if we were to do a poll, you know, I bet you a lot of people aren't doing that. They're not taking the time to just look at life, like be aware of your surroundings, be aware, like look past what's in front of you. And I think that's probably the biggest thing that I've been blessed with in this whole journey, is just being able to know who you are and being self-aware. Now, in the same sense, it's actually kind of shitty because you now know why you're feeling the way you're feeling, and now it's having to deal with those feelings and being in those feelings and sitting in those feelings. And it's like, you know, some days I just wish that I didn't know any of that shit and I just kind of continued on, like, you know,
right,
for example, you know, being in the Matrix and not
having to deal with life on this plane. Yeah.
Totally.
I feel like there's a couple things I want to share with you. One is, you know, I totally believe that there's a lot of mental health stigma on police forces. That totally makes sense. However, I worked mostly in nonprofits as a therapist since 1987, and there's that same mental health stigma in nonprofits. In like clinical nonprofits, places where the whole business is providing clinical services. and, and there was always the stigma and the sense that if you started to be negatively impacted by the work, because I mostly worked out on the streets with people who were unhoused and severely mentally ill and stuff like that, that you were weak. There was something wrong with you if it started to get to you.
Yeah.
So one of my visions for, growing Hopeful Tribe is that eventually it'll create enough income for me to open up a retreat for people who are, suffering from burnout and PTSD or OSI, like you were talking about, who really need some time to reflect, like you were also talking about. Most of us never get the opportunity to reflect. We're just so busy surviving. I